List videos have kind of just been a thing in gaming on YouTube for a while now, and people will do whatever they can and make a video like 10 best Sniper Wolf videos or 10 games you didn't know your dick pics were in. But perhaps worse than all of that are videos you'll find commonly on TheGamer, a channel with 1.3 million subs, 779 videos, and 12.9 IQ.
Is your PC getting old and outdated?
No.
Do you not feel like dishing out hundreds of dollars every year just to keep your PC up to date?
Well, I mean, you don't have to do that, but go on.
Are you tired of the buggy controls and constant crashes when trying to play games on your PC?
No, because I just rebind my controls or do some troubleshooting.
Then it's time to lose the PC and start gaming on console.
Wow, okay, we are starting off excellently, woo!
Well, maybe not every game is better on console, but we have composed a list of 10 PC video games that are better on console just to prove they can be.
Can a game be better on console? Theoretically, yes. Maybe. But it won't be that way for long. You see, if a game launches in an average state on console and then an average state on PC, the differences between the hardware are going to push the PC version to be the superior, because there's just more that you can do with it. But we'll get into that a little later. There's a lot of really ugh in this video, so strap in.
Before we begin, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our awesome videos and click that bell to become part of our notification squad.
Ugh.
LA Noire. This Rockstar game was a highly ambitious project. Released in May 2011 for Xbox 360 and PS3 and November 2011 for PC, LA Noire is a neo-noir action-adventure game set in Los Angeles in the year 1947.
I remember LA Noire. That was a pretty interesting game. How come we never got more of that? You know, a little side note, what was it about LA Noire that we never got more of? That kind of like in-depth, kind of more, I don't want to say RPG-ish, but definitely more open-ended Rockstar kind of game. I got shit on my overrated games video for saying stuff about Rockstar, but LA Noire is an example of what I was talking about when I say that all of Rockstar's open world games feel formulaic. LA Noire was an example of a game that kind of transcended that, and that's what I would like to see more of. Totally unrelated to the video, just saying. I would like to see Rockstar take more risks.
You play as an LAPD officer trying to solve cases across 5 divisions. From searching for clues to drawing hilarious sketches, there is so much to do in LA Noire. The reason the console version is better than the PC version is because the PC port of the game is downright awful.
Oh my goodness, you want to talk about things that are awful? Can we get a replay of that aim?
The reason the console version is better than the PC version is because the PC port of the game is downright awful.
I really hope that this isn't your personal gameplay, but oh my goodness. Yeah, you can make any game look awful with aim like that. Holy shit.
The PC port was ridiculously laggy, had a tremendous amount of bugs, and was, well, pretty much inferior to the console version in every way you could think of.
Going through the Steam reviews of this game, I can see that there were some bugs at launch, mainly with the actual launching of the game. But also, after 13,000 reviews, the game is 85% positive. And just looking at console gameplay compared to PC gameplay, it's hilarious to me that you actually think the console version is superior in terms of visuals and like the actual smoothness of the game. All Rockstar games are buggy, but taking bugs out of the equation, yeah, the PC version is better.
The character models look completely different. Everyone looks like they are shiny mannequins.
And the console character models don't look awkward. How?
It's way creepier than it sounds.
Are you running the game at low settings?
Even if your PC can handle modern games on max settings with ultra graphics and 120 frames per second, it's still gonna run this game like poop. The game was an absolute hit on both Xbox 360 and PS3, but didn't perform nearly as well on PC because this port was just bad.
You can just look at Steam and see that that's not actually true, but okay.
Hey guys, we are very excited to announce the Premium Network.
Ugh, promo right after, yikes. You guys were really desperate to get a promo in here. You couldn't have waited until you did it after a section that wasn't shit?
Final Fantasy VII.
Wow, we're going really far back for these. Keep that in mind, because it's going to be a trend.
Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy game to be released for the PlayStation. It was originally designed to be for the Super Nintendo, but the developer Squaresoft decided to move to PlayStation because of advancements of the CD-ROM technology and the fact it's a more powerful system. That turned out to be a great idea in the end, but the PC port, on the other hand, didn't turn out nearly as good. The port for Final Fantasy VII was a big letdown.
I can't believe I'm actually looking up when Final Fantasy VII came out on fucking PC. So, Final Fantasy VII came out on PC in 1998. This video came out in 2017. Just keep that in mind. He's using a 1998 game to justify why consoles are better than PC now.
First of all, the music of the game was a mess. The music was converted down to MIDI, which some of you may love, but last time I checked, the PC is not a Super Nintendo, so it should be able to have music of much higher quality.
Holy shit, so they changed the music, and you even admit that a lot of people prefer the PC version music, but you didn't like it, so it's a negative. Honestly, why did I expect better from this channel?
Even the cutscenes were impossible to enjoy unless you downloaded this codec separately. Come on, you should never need to download a codec just to enjoy a video game.
Just like how you should never have to download expansions and free DLC packs to enjoy a video game. That doesn't happen on consoles.
Get it together, PC port. At least provide the codec in the CD. Makes sense. It was even re-released 4 years ago for the PC with absolutely none of these problems fixed.
Well, yeah, it was a re-release, not a remake.
You'd think in the 15 years between Final Fantasy VII's first release for the PC in '98 and the re-release in 2013, the developers would learn from their mistakes.
But even by your own admission, they were only mistakes to some people.
But I guess that's just too much to ask for. Honestly, it runs better on a PlayStation emulator than it does for the actual release.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I have so many things wrong with there's so many things wrong with this. I can't get over this. If you want to play Final Fantasy VII on PC, you have two options. You have the actual PC version, which is slightly different than the PlayStation version, or you can actually play the PlayStation version on your PC with an emulator. And looking at the review scores of the PC version compared to the PS1 version, the reviews are nearly the same. Aside from a couple outliers, this game was loved by almost everyone on both platforms. This sounds more like, oh, the PC version was different, therefore it's worse.
So buy the release, then just play the emulator. You'll be good.
Okay, and then, oh my...
Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance.
A game from 2002, mind you. Again, we're going back pretty far for these.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance is the expanded edition of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, and was released for multiple platforms including Xbox and PC to go along with the PlayStation 2. Metal Gear fans around the world were bummed out when their precious controls were all out of whack with this clunky PC port.
Well, that was kind of a problem with the console version as well. It was really just a problem with tank controls in general. Tank controls fucking suck. And that's coming from someone who sucks Silent Hill 2's dick constantly. Tank controls are awful, regardless of the platform.
Luckily, all those melodramatic cutscenes remained intact, albeit with much worse graphics quality. Well, cutscenes are a staple of the Metal Gear Solid franchise and take up around 90% of the game anyway, so that's to be expected. The main reason the port was absolutely terrible is because the controls make no sense whatsoever. You want Snake to go up, but he goes down. You want him to go left, and he goes right. If you wanted to simply play the game and enjoy it, you had to pretty much remap the entire control scheme.
Yeah, but you could remap it. So...
Not cool, Hideo Kojima, not cool. It's like the controls were for Helicopter Simulator 2017, which may or may not actually exist, because everything is inverted and confusing for no apparent reason.
But you could rebind it. By your own admission, you could rebind it.
Graphics and controls seem to be the downfall for almost every PC port on the list so far.
Yeah, maybe to someone who doesn't know how to rebind things or doesn't know how to change graphics settings, you are reaching so hard. Graphics and controls are the downfall of games on this list. How about release dates? What about those? How about the fact that you're talking about games that are a decade old?
Bully.
Oh, there's another old one.
Well, this is the second Rockstar game on this list, and it certainly won't be the last.
If you put GTA on this list, I'm just done. Spoiler alert, he does.
Bully was first released for PlayStation 2 in 2006 before being released for Xbox 360 and PC as the Scholarship Edition in 2008. In this game, you play as teenage rebel Jimmy Hopkins as he rises through the ranks of the school groups.
I fucking love Bully. Just completely unrelated. I fucking love this game. But also, before you say anything more, Steam, 82% positive. Also released in 2008. But go on.
It's as if Rockstar took the PC port of this game and bullied it to the point it had no confidence and self-esteem to become a good port in any way, shape, or form.
Wow, that was... Ooh, that sounded personal.
The graphics look absolutely awful compared to the console version.
The graphics look awful compared to console? Are you shitting me, bud? Do I need to show you comparisons? Because the console version of this game has remained stagnant since it came out, but the PC version has been improved with mods and improved hardware. How can you even make this argument?
To make matters worse, you also had to reconfigure the keys just so that they make any kind of sense.
Keep in mind that right here, he's literally playing the Xbox version.
Why in the world is left alt the default button to attack?
So, rebind it?
How does this even happen? It literally makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that's a shitty binding, so change it. Also, you're showing gameplay of the Xbox version. If you're talking about things that sound outlandish, it's probably a good idea to show them.
The game is also incredibly laggy, and even the most powerful computers will struggle to keep this game running at 30 frames per second.
30 frames per second? That's your goal on PC? You bought a game on PC with the intention of running it at 30 frames per second? Am I hearing that right?
The game is even prone to frequent crashes, which is the most annoying problem a PC port can have.
I mean, a console game as well. But, okay.
Devil May Cry 3.
And there's another game that's old as shit. Seriously, why did you make this video? You're trying to convince people not to game on PC and to buy a console instead of a PC. But you're using games where they'd have to go back and buy a PS2 or even a PS1. How desperate were you for a video?
Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening was first released for PlayStation 2 in 2005 and ported to PC in 2006, where it pretty much turned into a glitch fest.
Of all the games you've listed in this video, this is the first one that I actually agree with. Devil May Cry 3 on PC is ass, but it's also 13 years old. It's almost like you couldn't think of modern day examples.
The frame rate of the PC port is very choppy and inconsistent.
Kind of like console games.
You never know when it's going to go up and when it's going to go down, which drives you crazy.
Kind of like console games.
The graphics are also pretty terrible.
Kind of like console.
The display cannot be scaled up to 1080p, but you can download a widescreen mod to make the game look prettier.
No, okay, play that again. Play that again.
The display cannot be scaled up to 1080p, but you can download a widescreen mod to make the game look prettier.
Are we all seeing the significance of that? Are we all seeing the significance of that? Of this statement that he breezes right over? We can fix bad performance with mods. We can improve bad performance with mods. And you just breezed right over that. Holy shit.
Again, a mod shouldn't be necessary to enjoy a game.
Absolutely they should not. I completely agree with this. I completely agree with this. But I'm also not about to forgive you for anything that you've said, because this is a video from 2017 where you're telling people not to buy a PC and to buy a console, and you're using examples from more than 2 console generations ago.
A game should be designed well enough so that mods simply improve on an already solid product. The complete lack of graphical options make the PC port of Devil May Cry 3 seem badly made.
That was the most redundant sentence ever. This description of a poorly made game makes the game feel poorly made.
They couldn't even be bothered to put a graphics section into the options menu. There's just a clear lack of effort into the details of the PC port. The game also doesn't have Xbox controller support, so all you PC players with your mouse and keyboard will be loving life with nothing to complain about, while those who enjoy using controllers are left in the dark. Overall, Devil May Cry 3 is a pretty bad port in every sense of the word.
It's like he found the one legitimate example of a bad PC port and he's just going to town on it. Like, he's just been building this all up for an actual example. Like, okay, dude, we get it. DMC3 is bad on PC. Let's move on, all right? We're starting to repeat ourselves.
Grand Theft Auto 4.
Are you serious?
GTA 4 is known as one of the worst PC ports of all time, and is the third Rockstar game on this list. Clearly, Rockstar doesn't put much effort into their ports, as this one seems as if it were ported by Nico Bellic himself. The game performed terribly on PC. Users with powerful computers back in 2008, who set their game to max settings, got around 50 frames per second with constant frame rate drops, which go as low as 15 to 25 frames per second, rendering the game almost unplayable.
But that's still better than the console version. The PC port was very weird. This was during the Games for Windows Live era, and there were just a lot of problems with that service as a whole that made the game suffer for it. But there's also ways to work around that. GTA 4 also has an extensive modding community with things that have really improved the game and not only made performance better, but improved the gameplay, added more weapons, more things to do, the kind of things you would expect from a modded open world game like GTA. And also, the fact that you talked down about 50 FPS, you know this game ran at like 20 something on consoles, right? This game maxed out at 30 FPS on consoles with constant frame rate drops. But you're talking shit about 50 FPS with frame rate drops? Really?
The game simply doesn't feel optimized for the PC in any way.
It didn't feel optimized on the console either. That's why I stopped playing GTA on console.
Objects just pop into frame, and there is just so much going on at one time, it's almost impossible for the game to keep a stable frame rate.
Like the console version as well?
Nowadays, with more advanced graphic cards and processors at our disposal, the game can run smoothly, but when it came out, it was absolutely no fun to play.
Okay, so even by your own admission, the game can be run just fine now. But we still shouldn't do it, because PC sucks. Alright, Huxley, we're going for a walk. Come on, let's go for a walk. Let's go.
6.5 hours later.
All right. Okay. Let's get back into this.
Rockstar also requires you to sign in to the social club to access online features in GTA 4, but there were almost always login issues, and it took until 2016 for Rockstar to fix the problem.
A year before this video came out, by the way.
That is 8 years after the release of the game.
And a year before you made this video trying to bash consoles.
What a joke. That's almost an entire console lifespan. Dark Souls. As if this game isn't hard enough already on console, playing it on the PC makes it even tougher. Dark Souls was released for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2011 and was ported to PC in 2012.
This is the second game on the list that I actually kind of agree with. Dark Souls was wonky on PC, yeah. But again, I'm still seeing the trend here. We keep having to go back. We keep having to go back and back to find PC games that are worse than console versions. And it'd be kind of great if you found more modern examples.
It's known as one of the most difficult games of all time.
I mean, it's really not that difficult. It's just different. Little pet peeve. I hate it when people say, "Oh my god, Dark Souls is so hard. Dark Souls is so hard." I mean, it's really not that difficult. It's just really different. And people are really dense.
And is made even more difficult by using a mouse and keyboard.
Wait. Of all the things to shit on the PC version for, it's mouse and keyboard you're gonna focus on? Really?
To put it bluntly, the PC port of Dark Souls is not very good. The game was limited to 30 frames per second even if you had a computer capable of getting a higher frame rate.
Yeah, that was dumb. Don't do that. PC devs, don't do that. Don't cap frame rate on PC versions at like 60 or 30. Don't do that. That's dumb.
There is a way to dig into the files and set the game to 60 frames per second, but it increases the chance of glitching and falling through the map. That doesn't really seem to be worth it.
But but that's still an option we have. That's still an option we have though. Through this video, you keep bringing up problems and then bringing up potential solutions and saying that we shouldn't have to do that. But it's something that we can do if we want to.
To make matters worse, the mouse and keyboard controls are just terrible. The game pretty much requires you to use an Xbox controller to be able to complete the game.
So, do that.
Those loyal mouse and keyboard users were very frustrated when they couldn't play the game the way they wanted.
I mean, you could play the game the way you wanted. It's just you didn't like that. Just because you don't like mouse and keyboard doesn't mean everyone hated it. Yeah, Dark Souls mouse and keyboard controls were janky, but that doesn't mean nobody liked them or that you couldn't make them work.
Even the resolution was unchangeable. There was a lot Dark Souls got wrong with this PC port.
Yeah, and it's weird that you're focusing on the non-issues of it.
But the next two releases were much improved ports, so the developer seems to have learned their lesson. Halo 2.
Wow, we're going really far back for this video. Yikes! I thought we would get better as time went on, but I guess I expected too much of you.
Oh, Halo 2. Bungie actually went out of their way to say it was the worst Halo game they ever made, and the PC version proves this.
Did Bungie say that Halo 2 was the worst, really? Wow, they actually did say that. That's so weird. I completely don't agree. I fucking love Bungie's Halo games. Honestly, Halo 2 has always been one of my favorites. Honestly, I think Halo 2 has the best story of any Halo game. That's so weird though. Huh.
The game was released for the Xbox in 2004 and was announced to be released for PC in 2007 exclusively for the Windows Vista operating system.
Imagine a game coming out today that's exclusive to Windows 10. Oh.
Windows Vista. Really? You gotta be kidding me, Bungie. Well, it turns out that wasn't really Bungie's decision. It was a decision Microsoft deliberately made to push sales of Windows Vista.
It's so funny. It's almost like you're describing console exclusives to push the sales of hardware, and how that's pretty lame too.
That would not have been the worst decision if it was the game's initial release, but not if it is the release of the PC port 3 years after the initial release. Microsoft clearly had no idea what they were doing.
Well, they did know what they were doing. You just described what they were doing. They were trying to push sales of Vista. That's what they were doing. I mean, come on, you literally just said this.
This is all without even mentioning the game had a terrible multiplayer experience.
Halo 2 multiplayer is terrible?
I'ma hit your ass with a ski!
Don't get us wrong here. The Xbox release of Halo 2 was universally heralded for pioneering elements to online matchmaking that set the standard for most multiplayer shooters to this day. Since the Xbox community was so well established by the time the PC port was released, there was little to no draw for players to shell out $60 or more for the same game that already ran great for years on the console.
I can't wait for these same arguments to be made to the Master Chief Collection. Oh, it's already been on console. It already runs great on console for 4 years. Why would you buy it again on PC? Why are options a good thing? There's nothing wrong with a company trying to give different audiences the game. Why? This is another thing where, like, there's so many legitimate issues with the Halo 2 PC port that you could be talking about, but you're focusing on stuff that doesn't matter.
Nowadays, most of the main Halo games are released solely for the Xbox.
Not for long.
Which is a very good decision.
No?
Saints Row 2.
Holy shit, find a modern example. This is actually starting to piss me off. You are digging so deep for shit. It's so weird.
The Saints Row series may just seem like a Grand Theft Auto clone,
Because it was.
but while they do share many gameplay elements, that is not necessarily the case. Both games are hilarious in their own right, but you can tell Saints Row 2 developer Volition was going for something even more comedic. The PC port of the game was intended to be released alongside the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions, but was delayed for 3 more months. Supposedly, Volition was so incensed at how terrible the port was coming along, they fired the company working on the PC port, washing their hands of the whole thing.
It's so weird that you bring this up, because maybe I'm just not digging deep enough, but what you just described happened with the PS3's development. The first game was an Xbox 360 exclusive, then the second game was going to be released on the PS3 as well, and the devs apparently were really struggling with the PS3's architecture, making the game really unstable and crashy. It's just very interesting that you, don't bring that up.
That being said, the Saints Row 2 community created many mods that have made the game playable once again. The mod scene for Saints Row 2 is actually quite impressive, but even all these mods can't save this ugly mess of a port. The PC port was disliked because it suffered from frame rate issues, visual pop-in, and the graphics were just awful.
Can you show a side-by-side? Because I can. Here's the PS3 version of Saints Row 2. Here's the PC version of Saints Row 2. Man, these graphics are awful.
Maybe Volition shouldn't have fired the company responsible for coding the game for PC, because while it is truly awesome that the Saints Row community stepped in to help, they aren't really professionals.
But they did step in to help. They had that option.
Resident Evil 4.
Ugh, stop going backwards in time. I literally bought Resident Evil 4 on PC again like a year ago. Resident Evil 4 is one of the games that I've bought the most times, actually. I first bought it on GameCube, then I bought it again on PS2, then I bought it again on the 360, and then I bought it again on PC, like a year ago. Please, tell me more about how bad Resident Evil 4 is on PC when I literally can boot up the game right now and prove you wrong.
Resident Evil 4 was released for the Nintendo GameCube and later the PlayStation 2 in 2005 before it was ported to PC in 2007, and then ported to literally everything else in the following years.
Did you know this game was actually supposed to stay a GameCube exclusive?
A common theme with the games on this list is the longer it took for the ports to come out, the worse it is.
What?
Which is pretty weird because you think it would be the other way around. Anyway, when the PC port of Resident Evil 4 came out, the pre-rendered cutscenes were a hot mess, with low brightness and no shadows. For a survival horror game, that's kind of odd to say the least.
Did you hear that in that sentence? When the game came out? As in 2007? 10 years before this video came out?
Also, there was no mouse aiming, so instead you were supposed to just look in general directions and do stuff. That caused some pretty wonky shooting mechanics and a tremendous amount of frustration.
Yeah, and it's kind of better now. So, Google's a magical thing.
The PC port is just full of glitches. Some players mention their screen often turned white with a grainy effect at random times.
That forum post is from May of 2015, by the way.
They can hear a cutscene going on, but all they have is a white screen that's only missing some writing that says, "Please stand by." Sometimes their health indicator and button commands are also visible, but not all the time. I think it'll take more than just a few patches to fix this port.
I'm having so much trouble wrapping my head around this. It's like you did so much research on the wrong things. You did so much research to find the problems with these games when they came out, all while completely ignoring the fact that A, half the games you were talking about on this list came out a decade ago or more, and B, almost all of the games you were talking about are improved now because they actually got better. Because you're going into this video with the console mentality of just, oh, the game sucks, that's the end of it. The game doesn't run well, that's the end of it. There's no fixing it. When there is fixing it, there's updates, there's mods. But you're not going to talk about that. You're going to keep bringing up forum posts from 2 years ago and glitches from a 10-year-old port and say that's why you should get rid of your PC and buy a console today.
Well, it seems not all PC games are better than their console version.
Yeah, especially when they're over a decade old.
Let us know of any PC video games you think are better on console in the comments section below.
Comment section below, comment time, woo! Apparently I have to pay hundreds of dollars every year to keep my PC up to date. I've played LA Noire on PC and haven't noticed a single thing you mentioned. Of course, there's bugs that goes for consoles too. The controls for Metal Gear, which are remappable, are bad. Remap them. Within 12 seconds, he used 2 PC stereotypes. Nice job. Rename this video to 10 games that sorta had bad PC ports on release but run fine and dandy today, and maybe we'll actually be factual. PC vs. Game Conley official, hashtag Nintendo versus Sony versus Microsoft for life. The fuck does that mean? Oh, this video was bad. A game of equal performance on a console and PC, the PC version is still going to be better because there are just plain differences. Physical differences in the hardware. But just for funsies, here's a list of all the games he talked about in this video and the release dates of their PC versions. Also, here's the release date of the video, this video that he made. Good lord, man.